Bum, bum, ba, dun, 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 dun,
What is up,
dun,
guys?
dun.
Matt, the owner of Tales Channel here, bringing you.
What is up, guys? Pigeon Return Studios, Boy Infinite Tommy, whatever you want to call me. This is a game night crew. We had a new member, but he left like an hour ago.
Yeah, well, was that for like 20 minutes ago?
He left
Maybe
a while
half
ago.
hour.
So
Yeah, hopefully next time. Hopefully next game night. Yeah.
So this is going to contain spoiler warnings for The Last Jedi, of course. This is going to be a full-on review stream. All right, who wants to go first?
So,
Wait. What are we talking about The Last Jedi, though?
Just our thoughts, like our opinions, stuff that could have been, stuff that was great, stuff that could have been improved.
Careful, those are mine.
It's not going to break. It's all right. Be careful.
Yeah, I'm just being honest.
All right.
Sorry. I am evil. Die.
Mine's the only one that can attach to my buckle.
Buckle.
So, I guess I'm going to start off first since I organized the stream. I think The Last Jedi, in some instances, was good. Everything from the cinematography, the effects, a lot of the technical stuff was good. Plus, John Williams' music was god tier. Like, nothing can top anything from John Williams.
That's true.
Especially the theme that played when Luke was confronting the First Order. That was spectacular. In fact, that entire scene was good. And there were characters that were good. Like, for example, Finn was a decent character. Poe was pretty much like thrown under the bus, even though he was pretty good. I enjoyed his character. I thought he was the best.
Too. Yeah, it was weird.
And Luke, though he was far out of character for my taste, he did great. And Mark Hamill did a spectacular job, even though, as he said, I fundamentally disagree with everything you've chosen for my character.
Could I build up on that?
Sure.
So, I have to agree with a lot of what he said. Although he didn't mention, I actually thought Kylo Ren was a really well done character in the movie.
Ben
Because-
Swallow, you mean?
Yes, Ben Swallow, best character ever. What's wrong with you?
I don't know.
Stop it. It's a no.
I have all the help I need.
McDonald's and I would. Oh gosh, no more of this. Anyway, yeah, Kylo Ren. I think there were definitely problems with him, especially how he was able to kill Snoke so easily. That was not very well executed.
Yeah,
But I did appreciate a lot of the character building with him. Out of everything the characters have gone through, he's gone through more of a struggle than Rey has, which is quite an interesting thing. Also, I'd have to agree with the thing like how Mark Hamill, while he was definitely out of character, it still felt somewhat like Luke because it was Mark Hamill playing the role that made him famous. It was Mark Hamill playing the Mark Hamill character. So that was still really cool. And also, I really liked how Luke died. I don't like that Luke did die in Episode 8. I thought if he was going to die at all, he should have died in Episode 9. He should have participated more in the battle. I do think that the way he died was pretty well done and really cool. How he went out and he looked up towards the two suns and the music played. I do tear up a bit when I see him. Yeah, I did. I did cry because
baby.
I was with.
I'm a little baby. No, because emotional scenes like
yeah,
that.
you are
they-
really little.
When I saw that, when I was like, oh, the two suns, then he faded, and it's like, what?
Yeah.
They're just killing off all these characters
Yeah.
we
Yeah,
grew up
I
to
know.
love.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like,
It's really
I mean-
sad.
I mean, the whole thing about Han Solo, that's because Harrison Ford said, well, if I'm going to be in this, you're going to have Han Solo die.
he was supposed to die in Episode 6.
Yes. He was episode 6?
Yeah, in Return of the Jedi. After he got out of the carbonite, he was supposed to die in that movie.
Ouch.
Yeah, but that never happened because, George Lucas wanted to make it more family-friendly so that the kiddies would be happy.
Then they replaced Wookiees with Ewoks.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
and
that.
apparently, like the original script, like it was going to be not the Ewoks, the Wookiees. But then George Lucas, wanted more money for merchandising, so he made the Ewoks.
Huh.
Oh no.
That's interesting. Yeah,
That's what my dad told me, at least. He's like a big time Star Wars fan that was into like the extended universe and everything.
Yeah, Disney killed off the extended universe. Yeah, I like The Last Jedi personally. I did enjoy it quite a lot. The cinematography and the action were amazing, and like Tommy said, the music in the movie was phenomenal. Part of the reason I love Luke's death scene so much is the combination of the two sons and the fact that it was a newer, seemingly bit more polished up version of the original Force theme that played when he first looked at the double sons in A New Hope. So that was just really cool to me, that was that callback, and it meant a lot because it's like that was kind of his call to adventure and his call to be the hero, and his time is ending. So the clouds cover the two suns and stuff. It's not like it's super clever or anything like that. It's kind of obvious, but that was still really cool to me because I never thought I would see that.
I'm just glad he died like that rather than being cheaply killed off by Kylo Ren or anything.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
just glad he died in a way that he would probably truly die rather than just...
He died in a way that he would be remembered.
Yeah.
No.
That's the scene I remember the most from the movie. The final scene with the projection versus Kylo Ren and then Luke dying.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I remember as well.
Is it
Yeah.
my turn to talk about
I'm
it?
sure you
Yeah,
can
go
talk now.
Sorry,
Okay.
we kind of hogged the spotlight there. Go ahead.
Yeah, mister. I'm a nerf herder.
You're a nerf herder.
It's nerf or nothing. Strike me down now. If you didn't hear it, it was a beep came from the lightsaber when we clashed.
We should probably get new batteries in that thing.
No, it's the actual.
That sounds like a sensor. But you
Herder.
But
you should get new
Anyways.
batteries. That thing's probably
Yeah,
dying right now.
in my opinion, I really loved The Last Jedi. It really felt like a Star Wars movie. In my opinion, I didn't really like the casino scenes.
Oh yeah, those were a waste of time.
They really were.
It would have worked better as its own comic.
Yeah, I agree.
Just like the whole reason why CC Field got his red arm. That worked really well as its own comic.
But before you continue, do you mind if I build on the casino part?
Sure.
So I think
Actually,
the casino.
I do mind, man.
You do. Aw.
No, just kidding.
Okay, so I think the casino scene could have worked well. The problem is, it's an interstellar casino, a casino where the richest people, not from all over the world, but all over the galaxy, come to gamble and spend their money. And it's kind of interesting because that concept, a lot more could have been done with it, but it was just kind of stereotypical. And while I don't think this movie was worse than any of the prequels, the casino scene gave me a very prequel kind of vibe.
I don't like sand.
I don't like sand. It's coarse
With
and
the-
rough, and it gets everywhere. Anyway,
This is
continue.
pod racing.
With the overuse of the CGI animals.
Oh yeah,
And-
and not just that, but also like the structures and everything in the casino. I mean, some of it was kind of cool, but at the same time, it was very like overly modern, and that kind of reminded me of the prequels because that was one of the biggest problems the prequels had. It didn't feel rough enough to be
Right.
Star Wars. It was too sleek and modern.
My biggest problem with it is that it's basically everything is like about that scene is like capitalism is bad, but it's so ironic because this is coming from Disney.
Oh gosh.
An anti-capitalism scene from Disney.
Yeah,
It's talking
Great-
about
great
why
job.
casinos are so bad. Disney has casinos. Why like all the things about animals are so bad, yet Disney does help with animals.
In my opinion,
It's way too ironic.
I
Oh,
can't
sorry,
cut
man.
you off here, buddy. But I'm just gonna be honest. They overused the small guy joke with the small little guy, and he's drunk and he starts putting coins into BB-8.
maybe he wasn't
They-
drunk. Maybe he was just an idiot.
Yeah, I'm just being honest. They overused that joke because three
Yeah.
times he had 3 separate scenes where they used the joke, and if you play back, it's just and I really hate how they went to prison. I mean, that was a decent scene, but at the same time, I didn't like hacker guy, to be honest. I didn't like how
That guy was weird. It was really random.
I mean, he just kind of only existed just for plot conveniences and because they needed a Lando-like character for this film. Because, like...
Was that guy supposed to represent Lando?
Really?
Yeah, because he was a traitor. And that he was, like, doing stuff for the Empire.
Yeah, but the thing about Lando was that there was a lot more depth to him. And the truth is, Lando didn't want to betray them. He did it so he could protect the Cloud City. And he was a traitor, but he redeemed himself in the end. This guy... I mean, at least even though Lando was new in The Empire Strikes Back, he had an established well, not established, but he obviously had a history with Han Solo. There was more to be revealed there, and he had more of a character. This guy came out of nowhere, and he left to nowhere. There was nothing to him.
Well, yeah, Daniel, if you play through the campaign of the Star Wars Battlefront 2, it explains more about how Tokadona, the Battle of Tokadona, was actually was the planet name later changed when the New Order kicked in to Jakku, which then explains why Rey went scavenging. That's why there was big Death Star battles, because beforehand it was the Battle of Tokadona. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Sorry if anyone's watching that. But it was this huge battle. Star Destroyers were falling out of the sky. And it was just this really bloody, brutal battling constantly. And the main character of the campaign, of course, Iden Versio, apparently they were specialized, like the secret police, kind of like, but more tuned to the story. And they had this mission. It ended in failure because the Emperor just was dumb. And basically their whole plan failed. Most of the team just broke up. Anyways, I'm getting off track. And I'm just being honest. There's many things in The Last Jedi that weren't needed. Like, for example, Cloud City needs more talent. No, just kidding. That's not your
Cloud City. Cloud City's always looking for new talent. Do you think you got what it takes?
No, but yeah, there's many things in The Last Jedi that really weren't needed. Like, for example, that kid that had the rebel... the
broom. The kid with the broom.
Yeah, I wish they built on more than that instead of just, at the end, I have my ring pop.
I have my ring pop. That's a good line.
New trilogy. That's supposed to hint towards a new trilogy that doesn't focus on the Skywalker family.
Wait, you think that actually is hinting to that new trilogy?
Yeah, because this guy's a complete, like, random character that...
Yeah.
It's kind of funny because they saved all the animals, but they didn't save the people.
By the way, that little boy with the ring, he's going to be important in the next movie. I know this because if you look closely at the last scene in the movie, you'll see that when he goes to pick up the broom, he doesn't actually grab the broom. He puts his hand out to the broom and it comes to him very subtly.
Yeah.
So
we'll see. Or he might not be important in the next movie, but it could be from
the trilogy. That part, because I didn't see that.
Yeah,
it was right at the end.
Like, I didn't really pay attention until, like, I just kind of, like, remembered. It's like, oh, yeah, that actually happened.
Thing is...
I think we can all agree. Sorry for cutting you off.
No, I'm so angry.
But I'm going to agree. We can all agree. The hyperspace and the sacrifice scene was amazing.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome. I loved the silence there. They didn't do a super huge explosion until after it had sunk in and using the multiple shots. That was just great. It's just like turning the ship just straight through the ship. That was amazing. That looked awesome. Go ahead.
I just can't think of that video the same. I can't think of that scene the same way again after seeing the Super Leia video.
Oh wait, what do you
sped through that one ship?
Oh yeah, that was amazing.
Put the link into the description so everyone else can see the video.
The video that I'm talking about, by the way, guys, is called Super Leia. So let's talk about the elephant in the room. In the movie, there's a scene where Leia's ship gets, like, the part of the ship where she's in gets blown up. And, you know, she gets sent out to the vacuum of space, you know, cold, you know, she's slowly dying. And you think, oh, this is going to be an emotional death, you know.
Then she flies back to the ship with her hand out like Superman.
It was really dumb. In my opinion, sorry. You can
Since John Williams was doing the music, why didn't he just use a Superman theme as she was just, you know, flying? It was so weird. It was such a weird scene.
I would rather prefer that Leia didn't have Force abilities. I mean,
Well,
that's just me, but I really didn't prefer to have Leia because out throughout all the movies, she didn't show any sign of Force ability.
well, that's the thing. I don't like to go. I mean, if that's what you think, that's fine. But I like to go with the idea that I like that they brought in a few more things from the extended universe or concepts that would have been in the extended universe before it was decanonized or deemed non-canon, like the projection that Luke creates at the end of the movie. Because that's something, at least I'm almost definitely sure that's been done in the extended universe before. So that's pretty cool. And in the extended universe, didn't Leia become a Jedi?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's...
Yeah, or at least she did have Force powers. And I believe she had the Force because she could sense Luke in episode 6. She actually could.
She was very well indeed
actually
Force sensitive
even in episode 5 she did, because after Luke fell out of Cloud City and he was hanging on that antenna looking thing, he was calling out like, Leia, and then Leia just realized in her head, she's like, Luke, we have to go back for him. So she did always have Force powers. The only thing was, even if she had powerful Force powers, she wasn't really a big-time Force user.
That was one of the things why... well, maybe it was because of that. I haven't seen the original trilogy in a while. It was just... I guess it passed my mind that she did have Force-sensitive powers. I didn't like how they executed in The Last Jedi.
Yeah, that was too weird.
They were kind of forcing it down fans' throats.
I was talking to him earlier, and I mentioned that I think the best way to describe The Last Jedi is awesome scenes, really cool stuff that's happening, but the reason those things happen doesn't make sense because the characters wouldn't do that, or the characters that do it don't have any character at all, like Rey.
TLDR, good ideas, bad execution.
Yeah, exactly. Because, I mean, I think most people can agree the action in the movie was phenomenal. The scene where Rey and Kylo beat up all those guards that were Snoke's guards.
That was awesome.
That was awesome. The scene where the one jerk nagging mom commander light speeds through Snoke's ship to destroy it and cut it in half. That was awesome.
Should have been Admiral Akbar, though.
Yeah. Should have been Admiral Akbar. It would have made more sense, and we would have had to deal with that annoying character.
We'll just talk about like what should have been happened in a little bit. Wait, should we start talking about that now? About things that could have been that could have been implemented, like more like things that should have been done.
Well, let's continue on with the rest of the movie because I know that wasn't much, but let's get to the scene on the other planet.
Before that, can I mention a little bit more about the one commander character? Purple hair. Commander Purple Hair. She was stupid. I really didn't like her as a character because it's like, yeah, I understand. The point is, yes, Poe is reckless, and that makes sense. And when you're in a war situation, yes, sometimes you have, and a lot of the time you do have to listen to commands that you don't necessarily have the explanation for. But this is a matter of life and death, and you have hours. You couldn't spare 30 seconds to talk to Poe and tell him what your plan was. Instead, you are just to prove a stupid point and risk a mutiny, which happened, kind of rightfully so, because she was being an idiot and not telling him anything. Instead, she just doesn't tell him anything, and it's like, no, you have to learn a lesson. You gotta listen to me. You're reckless. I don't trust you. Actually, you don't trust me, but you gotta learn to trust me. It was stupid, because she's not his mom. Yes, she is at a higher command level than him, but at the same time, that's no excuse for the way the character was executed.
Like, honestly, I thought that she was going to be the villain. There was a lot of build-up to it.
I thought she was going to be a first-order spy. Exactly. And didn't I say that to you in the theater? I was like, she's totally a spy. And then it's revealed, no, she actually is a good character. I'm like, what the heck?
She was getting a build-up to be one of the bad people. In my opinion, that was supposed to... Actually, I'll save that for when we talk about
what should have been done, or what we think should have been done.
That also kind of reveals a certain agenda in the movie. I don't want to talk about that right away.
We'll
though.
put that in the third section.
Okay.
About like kind of hinting towards stuff.
Mhm.
So we.
I guess
So
we're
we're
going by
done?
sections.
We're just
Oh.
kind of like mentioning random points because this isn't really like us like revealing beginning to end. This is just kind of us like bringing up points.
Now let's
kind of.
continue on with the movie. I mean, we've already talked about the casino, the light speed.
We didn't
thing,
talk
the-
about the intro.
You're right.
So can I talk about it?
Mhm.
So we begin with a fight like about to ensue between
Oh, no, I don't remember.
like the rebellion and the First Order. POTUS like calls General Hux "mix of your mama" joke, which
I didn't even
I
realize
thought
that.
the scene was funny, but
Yeah.
it didn't fit in a Star Wars film very well.
what is now Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
Marvel
I
style humor.
understand Poe is a sarcastic soldier type character. He's like a reckless heroic, but at the same time, that was a little bit too not Star Wars like.
Look at the force I am using right now.
I did think it was funny though how Hux just stood there. He was like, he's
And
like, hello.
there's like this huge ship I called the Dreadnought or whatever,
Yeah.
and they risked roughly like 60 like rebellion members just to take down the Dreadnought, which in total, like this is a life or death scenario, and like taking that down, you could save thousands of lives from various different planets.
Yep.
And putting you less in danger. And though, yeah, it was sad, like 60 lives are 60 lives. Like each person has like their own purpose in life. You know, it is sad, but at the same time, sacrifices need to be made in war.
And also, don't forget, with all the Dreadnought is this big ship, right? Think of all the First Order people that were ordered to kill anyone, really. They all died. That's a big win. I know it's taking serious losses, but that's huge. Think about it. Like what? Like 5,000 soldiers, maybe just for spares? And then we're not even counting the people that are actually working on the ship.
Yeah, it took out a large amount of resources from the First Order. Of course, that wouldn't really make much of a dent in the entirety of the First Order's forces, but still, that is one specific force in that quadrant of the galaxy that was destroyed to help more people survive. It makes sense. It's good. It's not a bad thing. It's weird.
So in the next scene, we go back to Ahch-To. And in the screenplay of The Force Awakens, when Luke looks at Rey, he knows who she is like immediately. And he looks at her amazed and perplexed, or whatever the word was. And for 2 years, we've been waiting to see what happens. So we finally see it. Luke gets the lightsaber, looks at it, and tosses it away in something that would probably be shown at a Saturday Night Live skit. It felt like a joke. And he's like, no. He walks away. And pretty much the whole film, like, thereon is Rey trying to be trained by Luke, but Luke's like, no, LOL.
I hate that so much.
And there's a scene where, like, he goes by the shoreline. He catches a fish, which is pretty good, like, with a huge spear.
Oh, yeah.
Then he goes to an alien.
milk.
He takes, like, a milk, milks the alien's nipple, drinks the green milk, and just goes... Just does this all this weird face. Like I never thought I'd see milk. I'd see that happen, like green milk from an alien.
And then he makes this weird face at Rey. He's like, "You want some?"
Yeah, it was.
I got
good,
milk if you want some.
And let's talk about the meaning of life. Porgs.
Yes,
Porgs.
The Porgs.
The Porgs are a very nuanced part of
They
the
were
Last
my
Jedi.
favorite character.
Yeah, well, it's more than that, Cruz. The Porgs are more than your favorite character. Actually, you're being disgraceful to the Porgs by just calling them your main character. If anything, Porgs are right below God. They aren't God, but they're right below God. You know, they're like they're the best creatures to ever live. You see, the Porgs.
They are the cherubims.
The Porgs are the meaning of life itself. The Porgs. They create and destroy matter, and matter can't be created or destroyed. You see, the Porgs, they are what create the aliens that create the green milk. They also can create blue milk.
And also, they can be killed by lightsabers.
Also, the Porgs hate Snapchat, which infinitely makes them better than anybody on Earth.
Also, not to mention, they hate their own kind being cooked and eaten by Wookiees.
Yes. Also, not to mention,
sad.
when they realize that the Resistance needs help, they board the Millennium Falcon, nest in the Millennium Falcon, and they live in it. And they scream to help encourage Chewbacca.
But in all honesty, like I do like the concept of them, even though they were kind of made one to kind of like replace all like the puffins on the island and of course money.
They were relatively weird and pointless, but at the same time, they didn't really harm the movie either.
Yeah. They kind of added a little plus as like
I don't know if I'd say that.
Oh yeah, so we had this Science World thing, kind of movie, but we read it anyways because we had to.
Yeah.
But it was 4th grade. But we realized that the birds of the island often walked on the set, and so I made a joke saying that, man, we better watch out for those birds with lightsabers. Because the birds, they would just walk around the set. And so I was just thought of them just picking up a lightsaber by their beak, ignite.
We have no viewers.
I know. It's probably gonna get more views once the thing is done because it'll be fully complete. Yada.
I walk a lonely road,
the only one that I have ever known.
So pretty much like the rest of like this, like the stuff about Rey is that, oh, she's so perfect, she has no flaws, oh, look at her,
and she looks at mirrors a lot.
She force FaceTimes Kylo Ren or Ben Swallow because he wears his pants up to his belly button.
Ben Swallow is the best character. Sir, there's a massive object emerging from hyperspace.
One thing I don't understand. Actually, I'll just save that for this section. The second section after this, after we remove, and not the new lightsaber.
You called.
We didn't call.
What? We have
It's Ben Swallow.
We have a massive object approaching from hyperspace. It's Ben Swallow.
We're on camera.
Put on a shirt.
All the views. All the views.
I never thought I'd see.
Now we have to just add Uganda Knuckles and we get even more views.
I don't know anymore. Anyways,
okay.
So eventually, yada yada. Luke finally Luke realizes, oh, I have to save these guys when Yoda force lightnings the tree. The sacred text.
That was pretty.
And then there's a whole thing about the resistance.
They're taking Communist Manifesto out of the library.
The sacred text.
Oh God. That's messed up, but hilarious.
And
works.
And between all the FaceTime calls about Rey and Ben Swallow, there's a whole Cantobite thing, the casino thing, along with their whole resistance subplot.
I did want to say, I thought it was pretty awesome how they used a replica of the original Yoda puppet.
Yeah,
that was really cool.
That was really awesome.
And that scene was pretty good.
Better than CGI Yoda.
No,
I don't move my face half the time when I talk.
CGI Yoda is not nearly as bad as the original Yoda puppet for Episode 1. Have
What
you
are you
seen that thing?
talking about?
I think I have seen photos of that.
I'm gonna pull it up right
actual
now.
footage.
I actually really like that.
So-
Can I pull it up on your phone, Tommy?
Sure.
I like that.
Anyways,
Mine is out of battery.
I'm offended. I like that puppet.
That thing is ugly.
it was funny though.
so eventually,
It was
like,
good.
they go to this one planet that's totally not Planet Hoth.
Yeah, totally not. It's just
No,
like
it's salts.
yes, it's
The
just
salt of Star Wars.
Although that was kind of a cool
Salty.
idea, how the ground is covered in salt.
It's like a comparison of the CGI model and the
Oh.
puppet. and like all these guys are getting their butts kicked. Oh, then we have Rose sacrifices herself, but she doesn't die. She's like, don't fight the ones you hate, save the ones you love. That's not how war works.
I like one thing I like is she just turns around the ship. No, this is not the answer. Violence is not. Just imagine Ben Swallow's face when all of a sudden they see one kamikaze just come in and then just
Save the ones you love.
Just we must save the galaxy together.
And then we have then we get the moment we all been waiting for: Luke fighting Kylo Ren.
Oh, I thought you meant the Frost Wolves.
Nobody cared about.
Yeah, none of us
People
did.
cared about porgs more than the snow wolf things.
You will be missed.
And then we have the fight between Luke and Kylo. The dialogue is pretty good. The music is phenomenal, as I've said before. Then it turns out, oh no, this Luke isn't really so powerful that stuff doesn't hurt him. No, he's not going to deflect everything. It's just a force projection, yada yada. He uses up all of his energy. He climbs up the rock. The symbolic scene of where it started ended under two suns dies, and then we have the whole the Millennium Falcon passing by, which then one of the slave boys that for some reason they didn't save rather than saving the animals. This force grabs the broom and it ends.
Oh yeah,
Daniel.
I remember when all of a sudden I want every gun to fire. Fire!
I want every gun we have to fire on that man.
And then you start shaking me saying, he blocked all of it with his hands!
No.
What
What I said was he's going to deflect all of them. Because I'm sure a Jedi could do that if they had enough training. They could deflect the blaster bolts.
I mean, Kylo Ren I know he's kind of he's a little bit experienced, but not exactly experienced in the Force. He could stop about 24 blaster bolts coming at him and then return to sender.
Yeah.
So, now let's talk about the things that could have been done to make the movie better.
Okay.
Anyone want to go first?
I'll go first. Remove the casino scene. Replace it with actually getting... And also remove the hacker guy and maybe just change it so that they find a hacker on some other planet.
Or here's an idea. Don't let that commander person, because here's the thing. None of the bad things in the movie would have happened if the commander woman would have just given the information to Poe. Because think about it. Okay, so what's the reason that...
Just ignore all the casino scene.
No, because here's the thing. First of all, yeah, Leia would have gotten shot and stuff. Needless to say. But everything after the early scenes and everything not involving Luke and Rey, Commander Purplehair, she refuses to tell Poe anything about what's going on, which makes it so that he's suspicious of her. So he talks to Finn and that one Rose girl. They go to the casino planet. So the casino planet... First thing there, that's terrible about the movie. Second thing,
the CGI animals that were actually kind of
that's kind of encompassed in the casino thing.
They look so ugly.
Just wait, dude. Second of all, the hacker, he wouldn't have been there. Also, wouldn't have had to deal with that whole not Death Star scene, but the Snoke ship scene. And finally, when they went to the Crystal Planet, nobody would have known. The reason that they found out the Resistance was escaping, unless I'm misinformed, I might be misinformed, but I believe the reason they knew the Resistance was escaping is because once Finn and Rose and BB-8 were on the ship, that made them suspicious. So then they started looking into it more, realizing that they were evacuating the ship and heading down to the Crystal Planet. So that's the thing. It's all because she wouldn't tell anything to Poe that caused Finn and Rose to go on that mission, get into trouble, reveal the plan, didn't even know what it was. It made it so that the plan itself was revealed and put the Resistance at risk. They might not have ever been attacked on that Crystal Planet if she would have just told them.
So basically, the reason why they found out that they're going to the Assault Planet is not because Finn and Rose were on the Snoke ship. It was actually just because they brought the Master the quote unquote master code breaker dude with them, and he after they got caught, he told them what was going on, and then Force Star was like, okay, let's check it and see if that's actually happening. And then once they did, they gave the guy some money.
Okay, but my point still stands. Because she didn't tell Poe what was going on, it caused them to go to the casino place, bring the codebreaker onto that ship, which caused all that bad stuff to happen. So if she would have just told Poe what was happening, they all could have evacuated down to the face of the planet, and they would have just left them alone. They would have been fine. Is that insane or what?
It is true. I'm just being honest. Can I just point out something?
What?
They were building up so much. I know we already talked about this, but it was so evident to everybody that she would be the villain. But then they decided, no, we're just gonna change it so that Leia and them were pals. Sure, let's just go with that. And
Well, the reason she brought her, the reason she put her in charge is because it's like, oh yeah, she did a good job on the planet. She was cool, Admiral Holdo.
what's her name?
I think
Holdo.
It's
like Holdo, Commander Holdo, Admiral Holdo. Oh, she did that thing in a battle. She's cool and all, but
purple hair. I'm calling her purple hair nowadays.
She was such a bad character, and what?
Anyways.
Yeah, I would.
Anyways.
We're seeing you whisper to each other live.
I know.
What the heck?
Anyway, we'll talk about it later when we're offline.
All right. That brings me to one other point, though. So this is kind of a touchy subject, but it's the kind of propaganda part of the movie.
Third part, my dude.
Third part. Remember, we're just in the second part. We need to explain
Second
what
part.
we would
Well, what
change.
else is there to explain in the second part?
So,
Not explain.
We're
We're
just talking.
I know. I'm just
talking
asking,
about what we
though.
changed.
So for what I change, I just kind of have it be where like Luke just kind of keeps quiet, but like he's kind of, I don't know how to describe like what he'd exactly do with Rey, since he knows who she is. So he just kind of kind of quiet, you know. He just says some things occasionally, but he come off as wise but yet kind of tragic. You know, you just kind of get more into his character throughout the film, and either replace Commander Purple Hair with Admiral Akbar, or just have Purple Hair still be in the film. Have Admiral Akbar be replaced as a minor character, and have Admiral Purple Hair be the villain. Like,
Yeah, I agree.
instead of like the hacker dude, like just like they'll be trying to look for the hacker, but it's really her, and she's like the villain.
That would have worked better because Admiral Purple Hair, kind of like Lando, who the hacker was kind of playing a Lando type of role, how he betrayed them. Admiral Purple Hair, or Commander Purple Hair, or whatever, she had a history with Leia, apparently, or she knew Leia, and then it's like, oh, she betrays them. She's actually a spy. That would say a lot, and that would be a much bigger character arc than, oh, I'm just a jerky commander who's painted as good, but even though I'm not good, I failed what I was supposed to do.
Now let's talk about another scene I'd personally change. As controversial as this would be the whole Snoke thing. The thing is, it's perfect, but Snoke knew Kylo's intentions, and Snoke was not hesitant to talk really angrily and threaten Kylo. He obviously did not resist to attack.
Okay, cool.
He did not hesitate to use his force powers to damage Rey. I think that Kylo would be turning the lightsaber, and Snoke would just be playing around. And then, out of surprise, Snoke would use his own lightsaber and kind of quickly throw it to Kylo and kill him. And then eventually this would play out, because then this would be more tragic for Luke, because then he'd realize no matter what I can do, I couldn't redeem Ben at all. And, add more guilt to not only Luke, but Leia. It'd be a tragic scene, and like Rey just barely escapes, by the way, just so you know. And I can imagine like they'd go into eventually land in the Salt Planet, and it'd be the confrontation between where you have Luke and Rey versus Snoke. Like Luke, maybe he could take on Snoke, but the thing is, like Snoke is hyped to be really powerful, you know,
and then just dies from not even using his mind to tell what. That was such a bad way to kill off Snoke because they built him up to be such a big.
Can I say something though?
And
I thought it was kind of a cool idea. It's like, oh yeah, he twists the lightsaber, stabs him, and cuts him in half. That's a cool idea, and it looked really cool. But once again, it's like they're skipping a step there. It's like, yeah, okay, so he's seeing, oh yeah, I'm going to kill my enemy. But here's the thing. He was clearly reading Rey's mind and clearly reading Kylo's mind. He's like, oh, there's still conflict in you. But it's not at a surface level. It's not just like, I see the conflict in you. I see you dislike your enemy. It's like, I see you dislike this person. If he's able to bridge two specific people's minds in the form of Rey and Kylo, then he should be able to know who Kylo is thinking of when he's going to kill someone.
Indeed.
Exactly.
And one thing I would have done is have it be a three-way battle between the First Order, the Rebellion, and the Knights of Ren. The Knights of Ren would have been awesome. Like, the Knights of Ren would be against not only the Rebellion, but the First Order, since they killed off, like, their master. Just imagine, like, all three fighting while it's Luke and Rey versus Snoke. It'd be a huge battle, and it would be glorious.
Oh yeah, make sure that the leader of the First Order would be Captain Phasma, because
Yes.
yeah, we didn't talk about Captain Phasma.
Either we have her like play more of a part in like the battle, like have her and Finn go at it again, like actually have a full-on battle. You know, have it be a huge battle royale of like all these different teams, all these different sides, and eventually like the smoke clears, everything like everything is settled, and either we have it like Luke just use up so much like energy throughout the time, like drain himself so much to the battle that ultimately it's either going to be sacrificial death or he's just going to wear himself out like he did in the actual film.
Yeah.
And if he dies, have him like be under the two suns.
Can I propose an idea that I think would have been really cool?
Yes.
So I told you about this earlier, but my idea was, I mean, I don't know how many people would like this idea, and I mean, I'm sure that if Ryan Johnson heard my idea, he'd be like, no, that's stupid, or maybe not that disrespectful about it, but he probably wouldn't like it. But I think it would have been really cool, and of course Disney wouldn't do this because this is a risky route, not the safe route. What if they played with expectations, especially since a lot of kids watch Star Wars? What if they played with expectations and made it not what you expected and made it even darker than it was? It's like, oh, this is going to be the dark movie in the new trilogy. How dark is it? Yeah, sure, Snoke dies and some guards die, but to be honest, all the characters that die except for Luke are characters that we didn't even have much of an attachment to. And characters like Rey and Finn don't even go through that many struggles.
Yeah.
It feels like it's a lighthearted thing. It's like, oh yeah, it's the dark movie. Look, I know Rogue One, not everybody liked it. I really think Rogue One, out of the 3 newest Star Wars movies that have come out, I think Rogue One is superior to both in certain ways because, while yes, it obviously had its flaws, it connected itself to classic Star Wars while starring new characters. It didn't retread on a bunch of stuff, instead telling us an interesting story about what led up to A New Hope, and it didn't fail at a bunch of stuff like The Last Jedi did. Anyway, I didn't even get to the point I was trying to mention. What I was going to say was, well, my proposal is that, what if Rey turned evil? And I know that's like, well, how would that happen? She was obviously a good character, but we've seen it throughout the series. And we see Rey, she thinks she has nothing. Really, she doesn't have nothing. I mean, yeah, maybe her parents are or aren't somebody, I don't know, but really. She's super skilled at everything. She's an extremely skilled mechanic. She has all these amazing skills, and she's good at using the Force without any formal training at all. And I think it would have made sense if it's like, okay, if they still did that scene where Kylo killed Snoke, it would have made much more sense to make Rey turn evil. But instead of Kylo staying evil, what if Kylo would have changed?
That would have been interesting.
Or maybe that could have even happened before they killed Snoke. What if he turned good, he realized what he had done, and Rey was pulling through, but then he kills Snoke, and then Rey sees an opportunity. She's like, I realize there's nothing for me anywhere else. I'm going to do this. Of course, it would be a lot deeper than that. The way I'm saying it sounds kind of stupid, but I feel like it could be executed well, and that would be a good setup for a lot of things that would go away from expectations. She never went through the struggle to become the hero, so it makes sense that through her skill and stuff, she becomes a part of the dark side. Kylo might even get killed by Snoke after becoming good, and then that could be a good setup for the idea of Luke going up against Snoke, but not only going up against Snoke, but possibly even going up against Rey after he had tried to convince Rey, or you know what I mean, like after he had met Rey and Rey looked so nice, he's like, I should have helped you, or something like that, and he realizes he messed up too. That could have been a really good setup.
Yeah, I agree.
I still like the idea of the Rebellion versus the Knights of Ren versus the First Order.
It's really a cool idea.
Like,
Yeah.
I think that would have worked really well, considering like there's so much like mystery behind the Knights of Ren. Like, it would have been really cool to see like a 3-way battle, like, because like, wow, it's just like Rey and Luke going up against Snoke, and like Luke finally coming to grips the fact that like that everyone fails. It would have been.
I think that's the biggest thing about the movie. It doesn't challenge anything. Like The Force Awakens, you know, I expected that. I enjoyed The Force Awakens. It retreaded a lot of territory. The biggest problem with The Last Jedi is the fact that it ruins expectations, not by doing a twist, but by not paying off on your expectations at all. And not only that, but it doesn't shock you or astound you in any way. It's like Luke dies. That's not surprising. It's just disappointing. Like, I expected Luke to die either in this movie or Episode 9, but the way he died, even though I loved it, it doesn't surprise me. Nothing surprised me in this movie. But the problem was, it wasn't like, it's hard to explain. I think you guys get what I mean, though.
Yeah.
It's like, it didn't shock me or make me feel anything except for the action and the music and stuff and a couple emotional scenes. But it doesn't play with expectations. It really did take the safe road. And for being the dark movie, a lot of people got angry at Rogue One for killing off all the main characters at the end. Yeah, so what? At least that movie had the guts to do that.
Yeah, I agree.
The Last Jedi, I mean, what did it do? It killed off Luke. That's to be expected. It's sad, and I know a lot of people didn't like how it was done, but it was to be expected at some point. Luke was going to die, and it made sense in this movie trilogy. But nobody that died in the movie other than Luke had any real significance. Nobody cared about Captain Phasma because she never was an interesting character. Snoke, his history or anything about him was never revealed.
But he was Jar Jar Binks.
That would have been.
But he's not Jar Jar Binks.
I don't know. I strangely would have loved that twist, even though it's extremely stupid. I feel like it would have been
It
amused
is
by
not
that.
plausible at all. Just all of a sudden, instead of Snoke's voice, just, you're joining the dark side now.
Or having me Darth Plagueis the Wise, like so many people were thinking.
Have you ever heard the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise? No.
What is that from?
No.
Yeah.
Do it.
Do it.
I have said it. The time has come.
Daniel, you will
Execute
feel the
Order
hate
66.
towards the Last
He's
Jedi.
still
Good.
alive. Now kill him.
Do it.
I'm
Like,
afraid
I mustn't.
in
It's
your
not the Jedi way.
anger, you
it.
killed her.
Strike me
No.
down. Strike me down, and I'll come back stronger.
I don't think he said that, did he?
Yeah, he did. Strike
did?
me down, and I'll come back stronger.
No, that's what Obi-Wan
Oh.
said in episode
What?
4. Yeah.
Strike me down, and I will become more powerful than you could possibly imagine.
So I guess you're supposed to take that literally.
Yeah, I guess Force Ghost can strike lightning down.
There's just so
The sacred texts.
there's just so many plot holes. Like, why can't they just strike down all the First Order ships? Like, why can't they do that? Or they only,
Why
or
can't
there
the
only a
ghosts-
limit of how many times they can use their great powers?
Why can't the ghosts do more than just float around? It's
And
been
give off
proven that they
advice.
could do more. And then, it's just, I know,
movie.
because movie. I'm just being honest. There are several things that I still have questions about. Like, one, why did the animals have to be a thing? That's just one thing.
The CGI.
Yeah, the
Animals.
CGI animals. Why was that a big thing that had to happen in the casino place?
Because
They
movie.
may never know.
Mhm. And also, too, why were they making so many little people jokes?
Huh?
In the
Oh, you mean the stupid little alien?
yeah, that was drunk and started putting coins in BB-8.
I don't know.
I mean, it's kind of sad that there's no actual development for BB-8. He just kind of shoots coins. He pilots like,
BB-8 is has more depth than Rey as a character. Though.
and they were also
Batteries
advertising.
included.
I'm just gonna call him Edgy BB-8, the Edgy BB-8 that's like a spy or whatever. They don't do anything with this character. Like the marketing makes you believe they're gonna do a lot with him. There's nothing with him.
Except
he's just a
for the
character in, like,
remote
5 minutes.
control. Except for at Target exclusive, the remote control, and you see
I
it,
actually do.
and his head it's just wobbling from side to side, almost hitting the ground every time. And you see it come across the corner, and then it plays a movie clip of how like swift and good, and how the head is completely still all the time, and then just. I know it might seem like I'm bashing at that, but I'm really not. I actually really wanted it. I just thought it was funny because the head was moving so much, and it made it look like it didn't look like a BB-8. It looked more like BB-8 had limited mobility, and so his neck just instead of just, you know how he is with the he has his head and then the body is movable. No, it looked like the body was barely movable, only rolling in one direction, and instead of moving in all directions. That's what I thought was funny.
Yeah.
Edgy
Okay.
BB-8 with his thumbs up.
So we've talked about all that stuff. Is it time to move on to the third section, or is there anything else?
Sure.
Yeah, sure. Let's move on.
I don't know how to approach this subject.
Well, he can approach by Ajit Pai with his lightsaber.
What? Yeah, that's a
So
great
there's
one.
obviously
Conspiracy
the
theory.
part about anti-capitalism, which yet again, as I said before, it's ironic because this is Disney.
Yeah. The big part to me that stands out, though, is, I mean, look, I don't want to sound like a jerk when I say this, but there's a clear kind of biased feminist agenda to the movie, and I don't want to sound rude or anything like that. It's just that clearly that's part of it. If you look at the movie, you don't see one female character in the movie except for Captain Phasma. That's kind of a no-brainer, but you don't see one female character portrayed as bad. And that's especially evident in the case where Rey has never had any real flaws since her conception. As soon as she came on screen, she was amazing at stuff. She never really went through any real struggles. And then you look at stuff like Commander Purplehair, or whatever you want to call her, Holdo, I think. She clearly did stupid stuff in the movie. She never paid for it at all. She was never called out for it except by Poe. And then Poe is written off as this bad character who is really just trying to... Oh, goodness. Who was really just trying to help with stuff. and then she's painted as this character who didn't do anything wrong. It's like, oh no, you did a great job. It was Poe being stupid. No, you kept vital details from one of your most skilled fighter pilots. That's not something that's okay. That's idiotic.
That's like telling Luke, okay, you need to not aim for the. You have to aim for the surface of the Death Star. That's like saying that. And then at the very end, right as Luke is going over, about to launch the missile, saying, "Oh yeah, Luke, by the way, you have to shoot it in this one area."
Yeah.
Already fires the missiles. Gosh dang it.
Dun, 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 dun. Directed by Ryan Johnson. Like, obviously, the biggest part is that, like, we can link this to a lot of the stuff from Rogue One, the Han Solo movie,
Oh no.
and
The
episode
little
9.
panda fighter.
Yeah,
This is gonna be controversial.
Can I mention the
Yeah.
Han Solo movie first? So the two people who wrote the Lego movie, Phil Lord and Chris Miller, or maybe it's Chris Lord and Phil Miller. I think it's Phil Lord and Chris Miller. So they were going to be writers, or maybe the main writers, core writers on the Han Solo movie. And they were fired because of creative differences.
We'll get to that later. Now, the thing is
We'll
also,
get to that later.
Rogue One. It was going to be a very dark movie originally, and it was reshot only like weeks or months before it was actually like done. It was really there was a lot of production issues going on, and then there's episode 9. New writers. There's one writer who's going to be writing it, but he was booted off because of creative differences.
That seems like we're going on a theme here.
And he was replaced with J.J. Abrams, which I like Abrams. I liked his work. I think he directed the Cloverfield movies. I think he did a good job with those, if that's the case. And I thought The Force Awakens, though not perfect, not anywhere near the originals, was still The Force Awakens was a pretty solid film on its own. It was pretty good. But a lot of this can be linked to Kathleen Kennedy. Now, this is going to be going to controversial subjects, but she kind of has a bias, her own little agenda, which, yeah.
It kind of, it's really annoying.
If you really want to like get into it, I recommend watching a Smash Talks video about it, as he gets a little more into it. Like, he talks about it a little more. If you want to watch his review, which there's a lot of things I do agree with him on. He's a pretty good YouTuber. Like, that YouTube channel is pretty funny. One of the jokes I would repeat, but it's going to offend a lot of people.
Maybe. Just be careful.
Well, that just depends on the type of demographic that watches videos, which I really don't know. Anyways, like, there was obviously some type of agenda that was hinted at here and there throughout the film. Kathleen Kennedy just kind of only kind of wants the films to be done a certain way, which isn't cool.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, The Last Jedi still had many good moments. It's just kind of half and half for me. Part of me wants to say it was phenomenal. Another part of me wants to say this could have been far better.
I think the reason for that is because as a movie, it was phenomenal.
It was.
But the problems stem from more than just what it is as a lone movie. They stem from the pre-established lore and who the characters are, as well as what this movie is supposed to be and what it was supposed to pay off on. Because as a lone movie, I feel like it's extremely enjoyable. When I first came out of the theater, I was thinking it was on the level of Empire until I realized some of the flaws with it, and I think that's because when you first see it, the original first impressions make such a bombastic...
Bombad?
No, bombad! Misa have bombad time! No, but they make such a huge, bombastic, awesome impression with the amazing action and the music and the emotional parts and stuff. Because there are parts of the movie which are absolutely phenomenal.
Like, I think that can go really either way. Sometimes the more viewings you can like it, other times you won't like it, or even other times it's gonna still have the same impression.
Yeah.
Like, for example, when I saw Legendary Pictures Godzilla in theaters, like, each time I love the movie more and more. Now, the first time I saw it, I'm very sentimental to this movie because there's a lot of nostalgia because it's my first true Godzilla movie in the theaters. So there's a lot of sentimental value to it, and I still consider it to be one of my favorite Godzilla movies, despite a lot of people saying this movie sucks. It's not a good Godzilla film. I still enjoyed it thoroughly, despite the flaws it had. I think it's very underrated, and I think a lot of the people who hate on it really don't realize what it was originally even going to be. Like, when they said, well, the Soldier Boy sucks, well, and they were completely surprised that he was the main character. Like, I knew he was going to be the main character, like, really early into the film's development, like back in, 2012, 2013, when it was announced that what the main character would be. I knew he was going to be a generic soldier guy, though he couldn't, though. Should he have expressed more emotions? Yeah, but was he a horrible character? No. It's just that the dude really didn't do the best of job acting. And there are some decisions that, could have been better. I still think this film gets too much hate.
It was a good.
It's a really good monster movie, and it's a phenomenal Godzilla movie. In Godzilla King of the Monsters, there's a hint going on that the Godzilla and Ghidorah fight is going to be amazing. Hinting that this could possibly be between the two of them, not a whole team.
Don't work ahead. Awesome. I sure hope it does.
I honestly hope Godzilla King of the Monsters will be good.
How about we both go? How about we plan a day where we both just go and, like, if once it releases, like,
I want to go with you.
Yeah. I want to watch it like the day it comes out, so be mindful. I need to see it in theaters, like, right when it comes out.
I get that, dude. There are certain things that I want to just do when they come out, like when Sonic Mania came out. I got it the day it came out, which was totally worth it. That was one of my favorite memories of 2017.
I never watch anything on its date. I always wait till the next day, or well, it's not really by choice. It's just that, like, for example, I miss like something on the Xbox, like an official release of something or something like that, or even updates that were really big. I miss things like that, and it's kind of sad, really, because I really want to actually, like, for example, when Godzilla 2014 came out, I saw it with my mom. She loved the movie, and she loves it even still today, because she loves disaster movies and all that stuff. And when she saw Godzilla, she's good.
I saw the film on May 16th with my stepdad, Chris. We went. Here's the whole story. So we went to Noodles and Company. They have a nice
Noodles and Company.
Me too.
Noodles and Company's good.
The only thing I get is their macaroni and cheese because it's so good.
I only get the buttered noodles.
Yes.
I see you're a man of culture as well.
Yes. I like some of their other dishes, but the mac and cheese is so good.
I hardly have any other fruits. So I get a kid's portion, and my stepdad gets a full adult portion. So I eat the whole thing of mine, and I'm still hungry. He ate a small little bit of it, and he's full. So he gives me the rest of his, and I eat it. And we went to the theaters, and we had these slushy cups. Now, mine is still somewhere in my house somewhere. But like these huge, theater cups, like slushies, we got slushies in these Godzilla cups. And, we got into the theater. I said, I'm scared. Not because of the movie, but just because, what if I don't like this film? What if the movie I've been waiting the past 7 years for was bad? I'm just sitting in the room, and the movie, all the advertisements and crap start playing. And mind you, I saw this in an IMAX theater. And for the IMAX theater thing, there's a little classic movie intro, and you remember how old footage they'd have the countdown, and it starts playing sounds, and it ends with this huge Godzilla roar, and then the movie starts playing. Everything from the music, da 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 da, so reminiscent of not only 50s music, but really reminiscent of Akira Ifukube's Godzilla music. Da 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 da. I bet, I really want them to use that theme again. And And when Godzilla put his foot down, it's like, ooh. Then when it goes up, it's like, ooh, and he roars and it shakes the whole theater, and it's like, ooh. But one of the best parts of the film, like the female Muto looks at Ford, like about to kill him, and when like if like a little blue glow is like Ford's face, and Chris like, and Chris is like, Tommy, he's gonna use his atomic breath, and I don't know if I got a little quiet little squeal next to him. It's like, it is a charge up, and you see the blue glow, and the music's like, dun, 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 and he releases it, and it's like, ah! And it is spectacular, and then like the Muto's yet again about to kill Ford, then Godzilla bites her in the neck, opens her mouth, and he's saying, oh, he's gonna break her jaw. No, he charges up, fires, he's right down her throat, rips her head off because of that, roars in victory, he throws the head down, mic drop, and it is beautiful.
And then
Beautiful violence.
And then
that's what we all love here
and then
on
has
Earth.
a hangover in the morning.
Let me just say, when Godzilla like fell to the ground, I almost cried when I saw it. I'm like,
he
no,
was dead.
they're gonna kill Godzilla off, and I was about to cry. Little me, I'm like, no, they're gonna kill him.
And then zoomed in on like a news report, and
King of the Monsters, Savior of our City, and they're like the you know, and he's like walking, he lets one final roar and then walks back to the ocean at the end.
Yep.
And I loved it. Then I kept on, I saw it at more theaters, like I think I saw it like 2 or 3 more times. I saw it. I think this is one of the Godzilla films I've seen the most on DVD. And it is amazing. Like, it's such an underrated Godzilla movie. So many people hate on this movie for the wrong reasons, and people hate on it for really small reasons. And I consider it to be one of the best movies, like, made, like, within the past few years.
Hey, Mommy, it's a dinosaur.
The mom, look, dinosaur. And the mom, like, has a look where she, like, nearly cracked her pants as Godzilla fights a Muto. Like, that was hilarious.
It's a dinosaur.
This is the part of the stream where we go off the rails.
And we talk about Godzilla.
Talk
Like
about
all
Godzilla
streams.
and Sonic the Hedgebush.
Now, mind you, the guy who directed Godzilla directed Rogue One.
Oh.
He was going to direct Godzilla 2, but then he had personal projects to move on, so he oofed. Then Michael Dougherty, the guy who directed Krampus and Trick or Treat, is now directing Godzilla
You
King of
mean
the Monsters.
Krampus?
Krampus, you know, the evil Saint.
I have a Krampus.
Oh, my leg Krampus. I got bad leg
Krampus.
I've got bad Krampus.
Here, let me fight him.
But yeah, like, the director of that movie is going to be directing Godzilla King of the Monsters.
That's gonna be awesome. What year is it coming out?
Next year.
2020.
It was 2020 is going to be Godzilla vs. Kong.
This time they won't have electricity and stuffing trees down their
You do
throats.
realize the director confirmed that was a tie, right?
I know. I just like
Because
messing with you.
who in the right mind would say Kong beats Godzilla?
To be honest, Godzilla.
That's pretty idiotic.
People who say Kong could beat Godzilla, the same type of people that say you have to have a high IQ to understand Rick and Morty.
Remember, Kong
They're-
died from falling off
Dude.
the Empire State Building.
They're the same kind of people who jump up on a McDonald's counter and start screaming,
Szechuan sauce! A pickle Rick!
"A pickle rat!"
This is why the people hate the Rick and Morty fans. This is why McDonald's still hasn't released that Szechuan sauce.
And that's why McDonald's put facial recognition and cameras inside.
Constantly, like, people keep on asking about the Szechuan sauce, and it's like almost the same tweet. Like, hold on, like, just wait a little bit and we'll release it. And they said promised by winter, and it is almost spring.
Yeah, that's a good point. March.
It is getting closer to March.
We got like 1 month.
1 month, and then the Szechuan sauce will be made.
Honestly,
It's gonna be released like the day before like winter ends, and they're gonna be like, haha, you guys are gay. We don't like Rick and Morty.
I'm probably gonna
We
get.
prefer Family Guy.
I'm probably gonna get I don't even really watch Repeater, but I'm going to probably try the Szechuan sauce just for the sake of the meme, and maybe even get a pack to keep closed as like a souvenir, which is pretty stupid, but I'm not expecting it to be good.
It's just gonna be basic sweet and sour sauce.
Yeah,
pretty
it's
much.
I mean, you can't really expect
It's the
much from
basics.
McDonald's sauces. It's like
Except for
seriously.
creamy ranch. That's
Like
that's-
99% of it is just nostalgia, and 1% is actually goodness. Like people really only knew about the Szechuan sauce after Rick was like, "Oh, we want the Szechuan sauce, Moody." And like they're probably gonna bring it back, but then afterwards, like they said, it's gonna be limited time again. So if you really want Szechuan sauce that much, there's a billion different recipes online teaching you how to make Szechuan sauce. So really, will it matter that much compared to Godzilla King of the Monsters?
No.
Godzilla King of the Monsters is gonna be amazing.
It
Better.
will be.
Oh, Pacific Rim 2 is gonna be released, but I'm not really hyped for it as much as I am for Godzilla.
Who forgets? I don't care about Jaegers and kaiju. I just want to watch a Godzilla film.
And the closest thing we'll get to Godzilla is Rampage.
True.
Rampage looks amazing. I
And
need to get.
We
the
always
toys.
need a giant crocodile. All of a sudden.
When is that coming out?
Like April.
We could go see it together. Like
Yeah,
three
we
of us.
should.
Or
All
maybe
three of
Nathaniel,
us.
too.
And if there's any monster game that deserves a movie, this is
It's
an
Rampage.
well, other than Rampage. Back in the early 2000s,
Oh, no.
there was a game made by the same people that forgot, but you know, I don't know what the dude's name is. He's from this one game. He's like a clown character. He drives a motorcycle, I think. Sweet Tooth. From something metal or something like that. The guy who made those games made a game in the early 2000s called War of the Monsters. War of the Monsters is essentially the biggest tribute to 50 monster movies. We have like a giant ape, like nuclear war styled robots,
Nuclear.
like during like the nuclear age robots. We have
Stop saying nuclear. It hurts.
I
me.
hate it when people correct
No,
me.
or
Like,
no.
I hate
It hurts me when
Nathaniel
people.
always wants to prove that. He always wants to make
Oh.
sure you're wrong.
and we have the Shogun Warrior based one. We have the alien. We have the giant mantis. We have the dragon, and yes, we have a Godzilla like
Yeah.
character. War of the Monsters would be perfect for its own film adaptation.
But they're not gonna do it because
Because nobody-
Hollywood is evil.
Because nobody knows about War of the Monsters. Anyone who played original games will know what Rampage is. And plus, like, yeah, Rampage is more popular than War of the Monsters, even though War of the Monsters, like, probably would work just as well, and if not more well than Rampage would, in my opinion. But Rampage, I can't wait
I'm
for that.
excited for Brock the Rock Johnson.
I'm not excited for it because of Dwayne The Rock. I'm just excited because I've been waiting 7 years for this film to be made.
I haven't been waiting that long, but once it was announced, I was like, "Oh man, this brings back memories of the Wii."
I remember in 2011, like my dad's like, "Oh, they're making a Rampage movie." I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." And like every once in a while, I'd be like, "Oh, it's like what's the status on the Rampage movie?" My dad would be like, "Oh, not much." And they were really quiet about it until like the past few months. They were just doing all this stuff related to it. Now there's all this toy line stuff, which I gotta get, and it's gonna be released in a few months. And if you want to get the Rampage toys, they're being sold at Walmart.
I'd spread them
of
farther.
course.
It's fine.
They're made by Lannard, the people who made the Skull Island stuff. And
What kind of figures do they make? Is it like hyper detailed stuff or posable?
I'll show you some photos. Don't get the stuff online. They sell it for overly priced amounts. So this is Ralph the Wolf, like before he got contaminated. This is George, like after when it like the big city brawl.
So it's
this is Ralph Big City Brawl.
they look cool, but it looks like it's kind of like
Can I
more
see-
kids types of toys.
Yeah, but they're pretty solid figures.
They're very detailed. That's pretty cool.
This is the new Lizzie design.
Oh yeah, Lizzie.
And yes, that's not a frill, but gills. Those are gills,
Nice.
I think. I don't know why they
preferred
gave her
Lizzie
the
to
tusks.
be this giant Godzilla like, but really,
They avoided that probably because of the DMCA they received from Toho. It's funny because not Conger, I'm thinking more of the monsters. George looks more like Kong than the actual figure did. Yeah, this includes like the helicopter and a little army dude.
I preferred, to be honest, I know that they're not exactly trying to get to the. I really like that wolf figure.
That's Ralph. Completely new take on his design. Usually he was blue in the games, like either gray or blue. So this is new, but I'm not hating on it. It looks cool, I guess.
Yeah, it's just
They're doing a more like modern take. Like they have to change Lizzie's design probably because Toho would be like, hey, this looks too much like Godzilla.
well, I mean, they could have made it like a thin, more lanky crocodile, like.
And they probably had to like change.
Like
They probably changed. Probably one of the reasons why they changed George's design. Like if we have him being albino, girl, that's his name because he's like has white fur.
Yep.
They probably changed like the fur color also because of like Kong. People probably confused him with Kong if they still kept the brownish fur.
Yeah, I mean,
But it
this
still
is-
looks cool.
yeah, it still looks like a good movie. It just looks kind of cheesy as well.
Well, it's gonna be more serious. I mean, the Rampage games were always kind of cheesy, and that's what made them like enjoyable.
Yeah.
Like they were cartoonish.
Yeah.
Like for example, whenever one of the monsters would punch, like their arms would go out, like they'd be really stretchy looking.
welcome to the stream.
We're not really talking about Star Wars that much, actually.
Well, we kind of have ended the main area of the stream, I guess.
And we're
How many
just
people
talking.
are watching it?
Huh?
Not
One
many.
person.
One person.
How many people watch it after we've streamed?
Hello, one person.
Yeah, just watching a Paladin stream.
What else would you be doing?
Listening to Queen and memorizing every single part of the.
Trying to sing Bohemian Rhapsody in an overly low voice.
Yep.
This is actually pretty nice. It is
Like
12-ish.
1:30.
Can you please save that one clip where Nathaniel comes down and he's like all Ben Swallow?
And then you ran back
Can
upstairs.
you edit that so it looks like just you have called and you make him have red eyes and that earring just.
I don't think I can find that anymore. Like I don't think I'll be able to do that until after
The
the stream.
power of Christ compels you. Oh my gosh, that was.
Oh, looks like our stream is being taken over by a whole bunch of nerf herders.
Nerf
Wait, what?
herders.
What do you mean?
We have the Fantastic Two. Those heckin' diddly darns.
Herder, apparently.
Nerf herder.
Hey! You hurt my nerfs.
My knee.
My rib.
My
eyeballs.
We were playing football, and I was. sitting
Oh my
outside.
God.
It wasn't my turn. Mr. Thompson was like, "What is that?"
We should probably be editing this because you guys are mentioning real people.
Yeah.
Either you guys
well-
like not mention real names or we're gonna have to cut this thing short.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to find the
I
part
know.
where
I'm kind of willing to.
There's such a mess in here. We did a gift exchange thing. That was amazingly hilarious.
Did Boop take his pictures?
yeah, but not the pillow because like that picture was torn.
Oh, yeah. Did you take the pillow? Oh, no. Yeah.
Oh, this is the part. I found the part
Oh, awesome.
because I can see.
Did you call?
No, you can kind of see his shadow.
You have an ulti?
Cruz,
Oh,
you see
yeah.
it?
Oh my gosh.
To be honest, he does look like Kylo Ren,
Yeah, he does. He dressed up as Kylo.
and he ran back upstairs.
Wait, you?
been swallowed here. A wild been swallowed.
He retreated. Not very effective. Oh my goodness! It is 12:34.
Yeah,
And
we
how?
should probably end the stream.
I
To
got
be honest.
Ocarina of Time 3D a while ago.
Let me see. Like, let me see how long we've been streaming.
Probably about an hour, maybe a little bit longer.
1 hour ago. All right, I'm gonna end this, guys. I hope you all
guys
have
later.
a good one there. I'll talk to you
Good night,
guys later.
or you guy.